Well, you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very,
Good.
yes, thank you.
Well, it's a cool background we have here, so I like that.
Thanks. Well, I'm in my studio and we do a lot of work in here. So it's one of our favorite places in the house.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to this woman who is joining us. She is a vocalist, songwriter, performer, recording artist. She's just released an album. It's called Under the Wolf Moon, produced by Jim Scott. It's an album that people are really identifying with. She is an author, a healer, a speaker. Lauren Monroe, thank you so much for joining us.
So great to be here.
So tell me a little bit about the title of this album, Under the Wolf Moon. That's very intriguing.
Well, we started tracking on the full moon in January of 2019, and it was the wolf moon. I resonate a lot with that animal. I study and have worked with a lot of Native American healers and teachers. And, the wolf represents a healing teacher. And I embody that. And the music unfolded very much around the teaching aspect and around the spiritual aspect of messaging through music. So it just felt right to call the album that.
Well, I should tell you something about listening to this album. I put on some headphones and I was listening to it, and I was just walking and walking, and I listened to the whole thing, and it just felt like I was floating. There's something about your music that has a very, very good vibration to it. And I'm sure people say that to you a lot.
I do get that a lot, and that's the intention behind it. Um, I think one of the things I had an audience member come up to me and tell me once that really reflects what you're saying. He was a doctor, and he said, "I don't get this weird. Don't take this weird, but I felt your music in my molecules."
Hmm.
And I was like, "No, that's not weird at all because, I work with frequencies, and I think every subtlety in the music that you may not get listening from a phone or a laptop, that when you put the headphones on, you really get the sense of the surround sound. It's a multi-dimensional experience, and I got to really capture that with my producer Jim Scott. He was so open and so intrigued by the process, and he has a lot of gifts at production, obviously. So I'm glad you received that. It's the intention behind it, for sure.
I had a euphoric feeling listening to your music.
That's the goal, to uplift and to heal through the music. Um, I find my purpose as an artist is to get to those places inside of human beings where we hide some of the shadows and they don't get to be healed. They're hard to talk about, little traumas that we may have and maybe unaware of. And when you listen to music, it's a very safe way that you can receive healing inside of those places and feel lifted and not even be aware what it is, but it's the effect that matters. And I strive to do that in everything I do, through the music and the teaching and my art. And, I think love has many ways of connecting to people, and music is a very powerful way.
Tell us about this producer, Jim Scott.
Well, Jim is a very, he's an old school, very talented producer. He's worked with a lot of my inspirations. He worked with Tom Petty. He's done the past, I think, 3 or 4 albums for Tedeschi Trucks band. Susan Tedeschi is just an incredible, incredible vocalist and guitarist, and I admire so much of his work that when I was recommended to work with him, I was so excited. And when we sat and we listened to some of my demos, and he was saying, well, what kind of band do we want to create around this? And I told him my inspirations, and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers has always been at the top of my list. And songwriting, he's just amazing. His band is beyond. And he says, well, why don't we call some of the Heartbreakers to come in and be on the record? And I thought he was kidding, you know. And he's like, no, I'm not kidding. I was just blown away. And so to have his insight and his ability to reach out to artists that could bring this to life in a whole new way was very exciting for me. I was very humbled by the legendary artists that came in to play on it. I just feel very blessed. And he's, you know, I'm going to be working more with him on future projects. We're already starting to create some other things. We actually recorded 2 albums because you know, when you have a flow, it just keeps happening. I wrote a number of songs on the record at the studio when we were recording other songs. So we're a great team.
Lauren, what would you say has always been the purpose of the art you create?
To heal. And I think because it's such a healing experience for me as I'm writing, you know, I think many artists may write like this, but I've always been a deeply spiritual person since I was 5. And, you know, I have the ability to reach other places beyond this earth and communicate. And when I'm in that place of songwriting, it's just this constant flow of this beautiful, very grounded, loving space. And it comes through images, and I relay that through my lyrics, and we relay it through the production. And my purpose is to really bring love to people in a deep way. That's the most important. I'm here to relieve suffering, and I'll do it in any way I can.
It's very interesting to me that you've been writing for such a long time, since you were just a little girl.
Yeah.
Do you think that writing, is it just something that is innate within you?
Yeah. Yeah. I just, you know, I put out my last record in 2008. It's a very long time, but between then, you know, you just have to write. It's something I have to do. It just keeps me in a very connected place. So I've been writing all this time. It's a part of who I am, and I will continue to do that always. It's a very sacred place. So yeah.
Is there a certain environment you like to create for yourself when you're writing songs?
Well, sometimes.
Hmm?
I do like to come to my studio, and I like to light candles and create an intimate space for myself. But a lot of the times it's just on my bed because I feel the energy of the song. It's like starts to come. It's like this force, and I'll get an idea, and I'll just, you know, grab my guitar and start, and I could just go into that trance-like space wherever I am. Um, Ultimately, yes, I do like to do that, but it's not that contrived. Oftentimes, if I'm feeling an emotion, I'll just go grab my guitar and it'll just come out. So it could be um, anywhere, really. I do like to be alone, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like that alone time. And I get very hyper focused. So, like 3, 4 hours will go by and I'm sitting in the same spot. You know, my husband will come in. He's like, "Did you have anything to drink, or you know, do you need anything? You've been in here for hours. Are you okay?" It's like, "Oh, seems like 5 minutes. I've been gone." You know?
There's a song on this album, and I'm hoping we can talk about it a bit. It's a big song, and the title of the song is Big Love, and I just think it's beautiful, and I'm sure a lot of people out there should check it out because I think they're going to find that they'll feel the same. So tell us about Big Love.
Well, I wrote Big Love in 2016 during the summer. That's when the presidential campaign was going on. It was a very big time, I think, in our country where there was a lot of divisiveness, and we were really seeing the split, and we were seeing this internal anger raise its head in a way that it was so apparent. And um, the song came out of that experience. There was a lot of things happening in the news that I was seeing. There was this opioid crisis became very apparent. I had a number of things that I was seeing that I just couldn't. I was wrestling with. The images were stirring, and it just the song was born out of that. And I think what was so interesting is that when we were releasing the song in July, I started putting together this video, and that's when all of this turmoil started to show itself in America. There was a lot of marches going on. There was a lot of talk about violence and change and looking at the suffering, and it just was the right time to release it. So it's the song is a call to acknowledge what we really need is this love and tolerance for one another. And we have to look at each other as human beings that all suffer. And we all want connectedness. We want to be connected. We want to feel a part of something good. Um, and I think that's, our mission as human beings is to grow, to accept one another. That song is really Big Love is about that.
Lauren, can you tell us, in your memory, what is the biggest compliment you've ever gotten?
Oh, it's so funny. We always remember the negative things. It's hard to remember the positive, but the biggest compliment I've ever gotten. Um, well, I think, similar to what you told me, is that I was feeling when people come to my shows or listen to the music, I was feeling really broken, and now I feel so much better. I feel like, I think that's the my reason of being, and when people receive it and are able to feel that shift and feel better and feel more awake and connected, I think it's a big compliment.
You've been compared to a lot of different people, but I would like to know from you what singers would you say have had the biggest influence, or not just singers, just artists in general?
Um, Tom Petty, I'd have to say, but as far as I think deep in my subconscious, my greatest influence was Jim Morrison. Uh, when I saw him for the first time as a young girl, something about him I really recognized in myself, and I didn't know I'm different as an artist, but that shamanic ability that he had to transform and to create such passionate, impactful experience for people, I really resonated with, and the way he wrote too was very symbolic. A lot of his poetry was symbolic. I was big into Jim Morrison when I was like 12, 13, 14, 15. He was all over my walls in my room, and I have to say he's the first one that really inspired me to be who I am.
Anybody who wants to listen to your music, they can get it on all of the digital platforms that are out there: Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you pick up music. And something I think is interesting, tell us about the record label you're on, Cherry Bomb Records.
Well, Cherry Bomb was a part of Mailboat Records, which is a label of Jimmy Buffett, and they distribute my music. They're helping me put it out there on various platforms, and we're making some CDs, and we're going to do a vinyl. And they've been great to work with. They've helped me, and just going to continue doing more.
Vinyl is making such a huge scene, I'm sure that that's got to be thrilling to look at a vinyl record label spinning around and see your name on it, Lauren Monroe.
I can't wait. We're going to start making them soon. I really can't wait for that. And um, it's a whole new world as far as music and getting people out there get to hear it. Um, one of the things that I like about what I'm doing is that now that we have social media, is that we're able to really connect with people in different ways about the songs, about the music, and besides hearing it, we can create these visual, creative experiences where people can see the music through the lyric videos, and I'm really excited about that too.
Lauren, is there anybody that you have always wanted to sing with?
Oh wow, that's a big question. Yeah, I would. I think I'd love to sing with Melissa Etheridge or Bonnie Raitt or Susan Tedeschi. Those artists are very influential for me too. Mhm.
What do you hope somebody gets out of your music when they listen to it?
I I want them to find um, happiness. Uh, and also, I mean, the songs are so different on this album. It's a collection of different feelings, and it's like you said, you can walk around and listen. And it takes you on a journey, and I hope that people can find that journey within themselves. It's some of the places are difficult to go, like the end of the like with Blue or Now. They're very deep songs about topics of letting go, looking at our fragility and the impermanence of life and the realities that we run away from most days. We want to distract ourselves from that reality, but I want people to be able to go deeper inside themselves and connect with the music and connect with the healing.
This is maybe a difficult question, but if there was a song from the album that you could pick to represent the album as a whole, could you pick one?
Uh, I wish I could, but I think Big Love. I think Big Love represents the album. It's the most anthemic, um, but I and River of Rain. I think those two combined. I don't think I could pick one. I think there's two because there's such extreme. The pendulum swings on this record, and so you have this balance of two things that are very different styles. But I think the consistency in the album is the drums and how I use percussion in the songs. It's a big part of my music. I've been a percussionist for a really long time. I've been an Afro-Brazilian dancer, and when I was dancing, I learned how to play percussion through the Afro-Brazilian drummers that supported the company. And I've always felt like percussion is such a way to reach people's hearts, and that's the thread I feel like through the album.
That's really interesting because one of the things that you do notice, especially if you get the headphone experience like I did, is the percussion. It really, really draws you in on these tracks.
Yeah, and that was really fun for me because I played on a couple of the pieces that I've released before, but not as much as this. I really was able to explore other instruments. I got to play toms um, on River of Rain, I believe, and I just was able to explore percussion differently. And of course, I had these amazing drummers on the record, like Steve Ferroni from the Heartbreakers and Rick Allen, who's my husband from Def Leppard, and Kenny Aronoff. Amazing. Don Heffington. Just, it was so inspirational for me as a percussionist to work with all these people.
Lauren, is there anything you would like to attempt artistically that you haven't done yet?
Well, it's funny you ask. I've just started. As a teenager, I loved to do art and paint, but I'm starting to paint now, and I have my first showing tomorrow. It's all the same. My collection is called Love Stories. It's all the same messaging around, healing and love and forgiveness and compassion. And so I'm starting to articulate the same message through art and music. I'm also working on a few other things, audio stories for children for empowerment. You know, in any way I can express the healing nature of love and compassion, I'm going to do that. But I think music is a big piece of who I am, and I really can't wait to start playing live. I'm starting to book shows now for August and September, and I'm very excited about that.
Oh, that'll be cool. Okay.
How
I always think about, can you imagine what it'll feel like? The very first concert after all this time, both for the audience and for someone like you that's performing.
It's going to be explosive. I
Yeah.
think people are just going to be just, exploding out of themselves. And I hope it brings a deeper appreciation to what we've had, because it's been gone for so long, and I think we really need that as human beings, that connectivity with each other and with strangers in a room, all singing a song and
Hmm.
all being open to this beautiful healing experience of music, whatever modality of music, whatever genre, it all reaches us and causes us to, I think the funniest thing is about being human is how we jump up and applaud for no reason and show, all of a sudden we're in this joyful place. That music can do that. Sports can do it too. But music really causes people to just explode with this sense of joy. And it's going to be wonderful. I can't wait.
Well, everybody out there, they can check out laurenmonroe.com. And I always like to end the show. I like to give the guest the stage, and you can go anywhere you want with this. I know there'll be people who see this all over the world. What would you say to anybody who's tuned in with us?
Oh, well, first of all, I would love to tell people to continue on their healing path. And if they're feeling alone, that music has a place for them to lead them to a healing place. And that I hope they can find me, because I want to make myself available to them in any way I can. Um, that we all suffer together, and that we can move together into a place of healing and growing. I also want to invite people to come and share their thoughts with me. I'm on Clubhouse. It's a wonderful platform where I'm going to be talking with other people around the topics of energy medicine and healing and music, art, and compassionate living. And it's wonderful because I get to speak. It's like a podcast that you can hear and communicate, and then I get to hear their voices. They can ask questions. It's very personal platform. So I invite people to join me at I am Lauren Monroe. I'm also on Instagram, Lauren Monroe Live, and YouTube, and I just love to hear from people and see what I can do more creatively as well. I see clients over the phone, long distance healing work. I just want to make myself available to anyone who feels like they need to step up and want to explore this wonderful, vast canvas of healing through the arts.
Well, Lauren, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate this.
It's wonderful to meet you. Thank you very much for having me.
You're a beautiful artist, and I really appreciate the stuff that you're doing. And I hope to one day see you in concert.
I will make sure you get an invitation for sure.
All right. Well, Lauren, until next time.
Until next time. Bye.